Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Have the football after a Shaq Barrett interception. Here's the play, dropping to throw. Brady looks toward the end zone, throws. Caught ball, Evans. He's got a Tampa Bay touchdown. Does a somersault, and the Bucs put the dagger in the heart of the Eagles.
And I'm happy for Mike Evans. He worked so hard outside, and so many times, especially with the injuries at wide receiver, they double team him. They went right to a play action, got him on a deep crossing route. He was able to break a tackle.
Well said, Gene Deckerhoff and Dave Moore from the Bucs Radio Network, courtesy of them. What a performance by the Buccaneers in their first playoff home game, true home game since 2007, as they defeat the Eagles 31-15, and that was really, as Gene said, the dagger. Made it 24-0 at that point, and the Eagles really had no chance, no shot after that. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com. Nick Geddes joining me here from Outkick.com. It was, I thought, a tremendous performance by the Buccaneers on many levels because they were so beat up at the end of the regular season. They come back. The defense, I thought, played with incredible energy. The crowd was in it from the very beginning. That's as loud as I've heard that crowd since 2002. And it got its loudest when the defense made plays, just like back in the old days.
Yeah, watching from afar, it looked like an atmosphere you wanted to be a part of.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, red end zones like I predicted. The flags that made their return. Haven't seen that sight in 13 years. It was great to see. A lot of fights in the stands as well.
I saw a few of those on Twitter. We knew that was happening. We knew the jail would be jam-packed underneath Raymond James Stadium. It always is. Not as many Philly fans as I thought, though. I think it was probably maybe closer to 10%. We thought maybe 20%, but Bucs fans showed up. They were loud and they were proud. And one of the things I thought that was so interesting about this game and so evident, the Buccaneers are such a well-coached team. I mean, you go back to 2019, Bruce's first year. I remember him always harping on, we got to stop having the Bucs beat the Bucs. We got to stop having the Bucs beat the Bucs. And you know who played like the old Bucs yesterday? The Eagles. Costly penalties, stupid plays, terrible play calling, not being prepared for certain situations. They looked like a team that had never been in the playoffs, and we're playing against a veteran team that had plenty of playoff experience. And it showed itself in so many ways. The defense came out with just so much intensity. And at Philadelphia, and I really thought the Eagles would be able to run the ball. Who knew how Levante David was going to be able to play? So many teams have been able to run the ball on this team lately. But I tell you what, Todd Bowles had a great plan. He had the safeties involved. I mean, Jordan Whitehead and Winfield, I thought, played tremendous football games. I thought they were huge winning edge coming off the corner for blitzing, supporting in the run game. There was no way that the Eagles were going to run that ball, and Todd Bowles was going to force Jalen Hurts to beat him. And I like Jalen Hurts as a leader. I like his moxie. I like his character. He was a terrible quarterback yesterday. He was a terrible quarterback. He did not throw with anticipation, was accurate. He did not have a feel for the pocket. He moved out of the pocket when he didn't need to on that. I mean, there's literally 14 points left on the field. He had Dallas Goedert on a third down coming wide open on a corner route. There was a lot of room in that secondary because there were so many people committed to the pass rush. But Todd Bowles knew that this kid does not have the vision, does not have the accuracy, does not have the anticipation. So you play to that. You stop the run and you say, Jalen Hurts, we're going to make you beat us. And he could not do it. He could not do it.
Yeah, and I thought the Philly media and the Philly fans have been banging on him a little too hard this year. I was like, they're in the playoffs. It's essentially his first year starting. He'll be fine. But yesterday, he had no answer, and they brought the pressure. And when the Bucs bring pressure, they're one of the best defenses in the league. And Devin White, man,
he showed up,
played way better than he's played the last 5-6 games. I mean, they brought him. I think he had 3 quarterback hits. So he combined with a sack back there with Whitehead, I believe. So Devin White showed up. Levante David, his presence of being there, even though it's clear he's probably not 100%.
Right.
But just adding him in there is enough for Devin White to splash, and he made those plays.
And don't forget about Shaq Barrett and JPP coming back. And we're going to hear some guys talk about this. And John Romano wrote a column on Football IQ, and it's one of the things we've been talking about for a while. But that's what, this is what veteran teams do. It's great to have the shiny new toys in the NFL, the young rookies and what have you. But the Bucs are built around a very veteran group of players that are really, really smart. Even the young kids play really, really smart. Winfield, Whitehead, they're really, really smart. Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, I thought had one of his better games. Just all the way around. I thought the defense in a game that the Bucs were up 31-0. I thought it was the defense that really led the way. And by the way, real quick, Sal Paolantonio, ESPN, was at the game covering it all weekend. So he's going to join the show at 10:15. Sugar Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru, will join us at 10:30. We'll talk more about Brady and Jalen Hurts and the other quarterbacks played in the NFL this week. And then John Clark from NBC Philadelphia has been the lead anchor there for a long, long time. Will give us the kind of the Philadelphia perspective. Always good to hear that side of things as well. So we got some great guests for you today. If you want to interact with the show, you can always do it online at FanStreamJP, at Nick Geddes News, and at the JP Peterson Show. Give us your thoughts, and we'll read as many as we can on the air. Of course, we've had a lot of feedback in the last 12 hours since the game as well, so we'll get to that. But again, this was, I think, a great performance by a defense that came out and was going to shut down the run. There were so many key plays in the game that we'll get to as well. But I want to get to some of the sound from Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. And we choose a lot of this sound just to kind of amplify some of the points that we're talking about that we think were difference makers in the game. And we'll start with Bruce Arians talking about the atmosphere there. I tell you what, obviously I was at the game. And you're in the press box, the windows are closed, so you can't really get a feel for the noise. So I like to go outside at points in the game and just kind of feel the volume of it. Man, it was earth shaking. It was earth shaking. Bucs fans were in full throat. Here's Bruce Arians.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was huge, man. The guys were feeding off of it. They were loud from start to finish, and hopefully it'll be even better next week.
Yes, sir. Let's hope so. And here's something I don't think a lot of people were talking about is the Bucs came out in no huddle, up-tempo offense. And again, this goes to football IQ. It's one thing to come out and do that, and it can be very, very effective. But one of the reasons that teams don't do it, especially from the beginning of the game, because it's really hard to do. It's really hard to be on the same page when you're basically having to remember from the script all the different plays and then all the different checks that come into it. You got to be a really, really smart football team to come out in no huddle and up tempo. And what that does is it keeps Philadelphia in very generic coverages that Brady knows where everybody's going to be. And it's short passes just pick you apart. They go right down the field. You tire out the defense. It's a great, great strategy. I don't think people really talked about this enough, and they executed it to perfection.
Yeah, that's another layer to this game was Byron Leftwich passed the test yesterday.
Oh, he did.
He passed the test. I said he had to get creative. He had to do some things with what he had, and he found a way. And it's still, though, the offense still was predicated on what Mike Evans was going to do, and he got the man coverage against Darius Slay more often than not. Took advantage of it. I thought Mike Evans had one of his best games of the year.
Fantastic. But 9 catches, 117 in the tutty.
Yeah.
And that tutty we played to begin the game. What a great route. And this is the other thing that you watch all games across the playoffs, like the Cowboys were so bad at the details, man. 14, 15 penalties in the game. At the end of game situation, nobody knows what anybody's doing. The Bucs are like a well-oiled machine. And they could come out in that no huddle and just with tempo and tire out the defense right away. And let's hear do Brady number 12 here. He talked about how important it was to score first. And this is why, this strategy is so good, especially it's a defense like the Eagles, where you're not a great defense. So you can take advantage of them anyway. When you go up tempo, you simplify them even more. And it's like taking candy from a baby.
I think it's always important to try to get the lead. And, we've done a decent job with that at times. We've clawed our way back too. So I think it's finding different ways to win's really good, really important. I'd love to always start fast like that and have a lead like that. So it was a good way for us to start the game. We're going to try to make it happen again next week, whoever we play.
You see what he said there? Finding different ways to win is really important. This is something that Brady has brought to this team over the past couple of years that I really wasn't as in tuned with in football because I wasn't watching the Patriots, watching every play of every game of the Patriots and how their seasons evolve. But you've seen this now for 2 seasons. The Buccaneers, I'm not saying that they hold stuff till the end of the year, but we've seen them go up tempo a little bit in the middle of the game. We've never seen them go up tempo from the beginning of the game, have we?
I don't believe so. No.
Big wrinkle.
And every time they do the no huddle, by the way, they got to be one of the best teams in the league doing it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to stop it. And Brady just the surgical way. I think that was the word that was used yesterday to describe his
surgical.
Play. It was surgical.
Carving them up like a Christmas turkey.
Yeah, there no shot for the Eagles defense yesterday.
And that was I just thought that was brilliant. And again, it's a great idea. Lots of people would love to do it, but you're gonna you'll try to practice and find out it's hard to do. But these guys, this offense, and having the continuity on the offensive line is so important. And it's not like the Bucs were perfect. We're going to get into some of the things they did wrong as well. Let's hear from Brady talk about Mike Evans, by the way, and some of these other guys who stepped up. Here's let's play number 9, Brady on Mike.
Mike played great. Just a great effort by him. Always can count on him. Dependable, tough. Made some huge catches for us. So he's just he's an amazing player, and he's just doing great stuff for us. Always comes through. Was a great red area target. Great on third down. Used him a lot of different ways today. So glad he had such a productive day. He's an amazing player.
Really was.
Yeah. And
yesterday.
I think, the production, remember before we had Chris Godwin and before the Antonio Brown, all the guys that we've added to this receiving corps, and Mike Evans was putting up 1,500-yard seasons. I think I took that for granted. I mean, you realize when this guy is the focal point of the offense like he used to be, he can win. He can win his matchups and he can be that receiver still. And yesterday, I can't imagine not having Mike Evans on the field.
Oh,
I can't.
He's so good in so many key situations. And because let's just face it, early on, Perriman and Tyler Johnson almost got us beat.
Yeah.
That could have been 2 interceptions because they weren't running their routes properly. Tyler peeks across the middle on a third down instead of running through the route, and Brady got pissed. And those are the things that the Eagles do. Those are the little details that make you lose. And conversely, Mike on that touchdown route, he's coming up on that safety, and he just gives a little shake of the head, a little bob to the inside with his shoulders and his head, and that's all that you needed to get that defender to get that little bit. It's such a detailed thing, but he executed it to perfection. He wasn't doing that 2-3 years ago.
No, it's completely different. Even on that play, Mike had said it yesterday that play wasn't even the original one.
Right.
Brady
his route.
Brady looked at him before the play and changed his route and got him on that one-on-one into that route. I mean, that's stuff that we used to seeing him do with Gronk, but now he's doing it with Mike, and the chemistry, he's got it with everybody right now.
And so much of the stuff we're talking about is mental. I mean, look, he's 6'5". He's in the best shape he's ever been. He's a great physical specimen. There's no doubt about it. But Brady has just taken this team to the next level in terms of mental. And let's give Arians credit as well. When Arians came in, his first level of business was accountability. We've got to be more accountable. Stop making all the mental mistakes. The accountability board was up there, and it became a peer pressure thing, right? Guys pressuring guys like, hey, man, you got to be better. You got to study more. You got to be in your playbook more. Don't be making dumb mental mistakes, because that's what gets you beat. Every NFL team is talented physically. It's the ones that can play together as a team, get the right coaching, and then execute the details in the absolute pressure-packed moments that win Super Bowls. To me, that's what Brady has showed me. That is the key that unlocks the Super Bowl door. And his team is playing as smart as any team in the league. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Sal Paolantonio will join us. He was at the game yesterday. He's also a Hall of Fame voter, and he and I and Ira Kaufman were chatting a little bit at halftime. Ira will present Rondé for the Hall of Fame again on Tuesday, so we'll have a little conversation about that as well. Stay with us.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful, needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221. Deal with a big national mortgage company was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at PalermoPA.com. All right, he was there for the execution of the Eagles yesterday as their season ends. He's the great Sal Paolantonio from ESPN, a longtime Philly guy. What's up, Sal? How are you, my friend?
Well, JP, that was an interesting game on so many levels and has so much intrigue and impact, not only for this postseason, but for next year. So I found it to be a fascinating game today at Raymond James Stadium. I really did.
Let me just give you the floor, and I think those are all great points. Expound a little bit more on that, if you will.
Well, JP, from the Bucs standpoint, it's really remarkable to me that no matter what happens around Tom Brady, no matter what players are there or not there, he manages to win football games.
Yep.
And, as long as you have Todd Bowles running the defense and you have Tom Brady running your offense, you're going to win a lot of games. So the first thing that I saw yesterday was Todd Bowles really, in my view, outcoached the Eagles offensive staff.
Yep.
Completely, just completely. They took him out of the game in the first quarter. They made him one-dimensional. And they couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. That was a brilliant game plan. Put 10 men on the line of scrimmage, run blitz, Jordan Whitehead keying on Miles Sanders, Devin White keying on Jalen Hurts. It was something to see. And Nick Sirianni wasn't prepared for it. The Eagles offensive coaching staff wasn't prepared for it. After the game, after his news conference, Sirianni answered a couple of questions for me on a sidebar basis. And I said to him, once they put that, run blitz in, what was your answer? You had to be prepared for that. And, he kind of fumbled around for an answer and really kind of avoided my question.
Wow. That's telling. Sal, one of the things I was just talking about, and you've covered Brady on every Super Bowl and so many playoff games, and having watched him up close now for 2 years, the thing that strikes me the most is, and this kind of dovetails with what you're talking about, is how detail-oriented and how much he demands that everybody be so mentally aware. And I don't think a lot of people have talked about this. They come out in up-tempo, no huddle to begin the game, something they've not done this year. So that's another wrinkle. But in order to do that, you have to have a super smart football team, not just Brady, but everybody, to be able to execute that the way they did, the short passes in the wind. It was a virtuoso performance of coaching, execution, and strategy, and that helped the defense as well, because you get up 14, that a team that runs the ball can't come back from that, certainly not with Jalen Hurts. I thought that was brilliant.
No question about it. I think the no huddle gassed the Eagles defense. You know, Ryan Kerrigan, he did wound up with a couple of sacks only because you guys had some injuries on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a brilliant offensive strategy, perfectly executed. You know, we always talk about on the matchup show, it's important to have good design and then talent to execute that design. When you have those two things going for you, it's tough to beat that, man. Tough to beat.
Absolutely. And, I also thought you talked about the different players stepping up. You know, you go down, your top two running backs are down, and here comes Keyshawn Vaughn and Giovanni Bernard is their second leading receiver and second leading rusher and gets a touchdown. The guy hasn't played in a month and a half, and he comes out and they're able to get that from those two guys. I thought that was pretty important. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it really is an omen for the future for the team.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you got your second consecutive home playoff game. And, I think we're headed for a Green Bay showdown. But again, part two, Brady and Rodgers.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to see that? I'd rather see it at Raymond James, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. What did you think about the atmosphere and the intensity of the defense? I thought that was also a huge key. I mean, the design was great, but I tell you what, those safeties, especially Winfield and White, are very smart, very aggressive. I thought the defense played their ass off, especially from an intensity standpoint.
Yeah, and there's no question about that. I mean, we came off of a couple of days ago hearing that the Eagles defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, was getting an interview with the Denver Broncos. Let me just say this. If Jonathan Gannon gets a head coaching job ahead of Todd Bowles,
oh my God,
all of these owners should just go on a retreat, close the doors, lock them up, lock the doors up, give them 3 hots in a cot until they figure out what they're doing with these NFL teams.
My God.
You got eight head coaches fired, 8 head coaching openings in the NFL. And Todd Bowles he qualifies for all 8.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the Eagles passed on Todd Bowles to hire Nick Sirianni with no experience, and Bowles just absolutely schooled Nick Sirianni yesterday.
Yeah, it was a joke. Sal Paolantonio joining us here. Although we'd hate to lose him, that's for sure. But he's got to get a head coach job here somewhere. And I believe that.
And so does Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
You may lose both your coordinators. Both of them are highly, highly qualified, and both of them should be head coaches in the National Football League next year. And if they're not, the NFL's got to take a real hard look at who they're hiring.
Yep.
Why they're hiring who they're hiring, why they're not giving these very qualified African-American coaches who toil in anonymity for years and do the job and don't get the proper respect. It's just quite shocking to me, JP.
Yeah, it is, and it's a problem. It's a huge problem right now. And I mean, you look at guys like Joe Judge and Nick Sirianni. And look, Nick Sirianni, I'm going to give him credit, though. All right, this is a team that I know they didn't beat anybody over 500 record. I get it, but I mean, he did kind of switch midseason, and he did get this team to the playoffs. Let's give him some credit for that. But the fact, what you're pointing out, the fact that the Joe Judges of the world, these guys are getting shots when these other more qualified coaches are getting passed over. Eric Bieniemy, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I do think there's some diversity training that needs to be done. It's at the owner level. There's no doubt about that. It's crazy. I agree with you 100%. Hey, let me ask you also. You and I and Ronde Barber and Ira Kaufman were having a little powwow at halftime, and Ira's going to present Rondé for the Hall of Fame. You will be in the room as well. How do you think that's going to go this year?
Well, first, let me say this. As someone who witnessed Rondé Barber taking down the Eagles in that NFC Championship game, and we were talking about it.
Yes.
We were talking about it yesterday in the press box. I told Rondé that was the last game I ever took my wife to because she was so despondent after that game. Not because she's an Eagles fan. Listen, we both grew up in New York.
Right.
But the way the Eagles lost that game, the way the Bucs just dismantled them was, demoralizing to any fan on the last day of Veterans Stadium. And Rondé Barber was as much a part of those Monty Kiffin defenses as Simeon Rice, as Derek Brooks, as Warren Sapp, as John Lynch. And in my view, Rondé Barber's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. And he will get into the Hall of Fame for two reasons. One, he's highly qualified. You look at his body of work, and Rondé Barber should be in the Hall of Fame. And two, and I've said this before to you, Ira Kaufman is the best presenter we have on the 48-person committee. I mean, it's not even close. His presentations should be on video and shown on NFL Network.
Wow.
They're terrific.
Well,
they are terrific. And, I've gotten 5 times in my 9-year career on committee.
Mm-hmm.
But, the way Ira Kaufman put Warren Sapp in, the way he stuck to the John Lynch cause has been, well documented as truly remarkable.
Yeah, I think, and I've said this many times, Rondé doesn't get the respect, I think, because I don't know if it's because he's a third-round pick or he wasn't, maybe one of the biggest names at the time. But when you look at his body of work and his I think what he did across the board, it's so versatile. I mean, he could cover Calvin Johnson, and he also ask him to support the run and take on a fullback. Nobody even wants to do that. He would do it, and he would do it effectively. Over 1,200 tackles in the game. The defense is still about tackling people, by the way. Interceptions, sacks, touchdowns. This guy has, I think, the second most non-offensive touchdowns in the history of the game. I mean, the instinct's off the charts. Look at the entire body of work. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, the numbers are there.
Yeah.
Passes the eye test on film. There's no question about it. And Rondé Barber's going to get in. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. It takes a little while for you to get the number of votes that you need. It's a process that everybody has to go through. And Rondé's going to get in.
All right, back to the Bucs. And you mentioned Todd Bowles, and I kind of floated this midseason because as a Florida State fan, I watched FSU do this coach in waiting thing with Jimbo Fisher, and it worked out pretty well. They won a national championship. Bruce is not going to coach forever, and he's having a hard time right now with this Achilles. And the reason he's been very vocal about this, that he has all African-American coordinators. He wants these guys to get head coaching jobs. Why not take Leftwich or Bowles, whichever one you want to choose, or maybe however the organization wants to do it, and say, you guys, I know NFL's never done this, but I think the Bucs would love to hold on to this culture they've created and these great minds and the relationships they've built with the players. Is that something that would even be possible?
What are you suggesting specifically?
That you name Bowles or Leftwich, whoever doesn't get a job this round, be the coach in waiting. When Arians decides that he's going to hang it up, this is our next head coach.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do that. And I don't think either Bowles or Leftwich would embrace that.
Okay.
I think that they need to be selected on their merits and be paid.
Yeah.
When you get a head coaching job right now, it's anywhere between $4 to $8 million, sometimes $10 million a year. These guys want to cash in the big money.
Yeah.
As well they should. They deserve it. See, if I were Jacksonville, I would hire Bowles because you got the quarterback and have Bowles bring in a dynamic young offensive coordinator with him to run the offense, and Bowles just from the defense. They got enough talent on that team, and I think he could turn it around fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were if I were like Carolina, I would take a hard look at replacing Matt Rule with Byron Leftwich.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I were Miami, I would team up Byron Leftwich with Tua. I mean, to me, those are easy. I mean, Miami should not even leave the state. The Miami Dolphins should not leave the state of Florida. They should either pick Byron Leftwich or Todd Bowles. Jacksonville should not leave the state of Florida. They should either pick Byron Leftwich or Todd Bowles. I think it's a no-brainer. You got 2 out of the 3 teams in the state of Florida in the NFL without head coaches. And here you are sitting in Tampa with an overflow of coaching talent.
With
Arians,
3 of them. Yeah.
Bowles. Let's talk a little bit about Larry Foote.
Yeah.
I mean, the linebackers coach. I mean, you go down the list, they've got some great coaching talent on that football team. Of course, Clyde Christensen.
Yes.
It's just all over the place.
Never gotten a shot. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's an all-star cast.
And it's one of the reasons that this is one of the smartest football teams in football, and they
Very much so.
Yeah.
What a smart game plan, JP. And I haven't even mentioned Tom Moore. I don't think Tom Moore has been a head coach, right? Ever?
No, never,
right?
Never got a shot.
No. And here you go. So you've got like Christensen, Moore, Leftwich, Bowles, Arians. You got an all-star at Foot. He should be thought of as a coach candidate. You got 7 guys on that staff who are head coaching candidates, who are head coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an all-star cast, JP.
Well, don't rate our entire coaching staff, Sal. I mean, slow down. We got to keep somebody here. I mean, and if Leftwich, it's interesting you say this, if Leftwich and Bowles were to go, you could easily elevate Larry Foote to DC and, Crimson to OC or, we get. I think Tom Moore might be a little long in the tooth at 81 to be getting the OC gig or a head coaching gig. But, I mean, you could easily elevate these guys and not skip a beat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I'm interested to see what happens next week with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I was surprised Arians put Justin Wilson
back
on the field. I'm not one to criticize Bruce Arians because, I have tremendous respect for him, but I think that's a major question mark going forward. I don't think you put him out there for 2 reasons. You don't want to aggravate an ankle injury on your tackle.
No.
In a game that you're up big, and 2, you don't want to get Tom Brady decapitated.
Right. Well, I think part of what went into that is Josh Wells, his replacement, is also dealing with an injury. So they're probably thinking 50% of Tristan Wirfs better than, a 75% Josh Wells, whatever it was. It was a bad call.
It didn't take long for them to find out that was not the case.
Kerrigan ran through it like he was a turnstile. Yeah. Hey, any quick thoughts on the other playoff teams? You saw the Cowboy debacle at the end of the game, 14 penalties for them during the game.
JP, I don't need any thoughts on the Cowboys because all you have to do is turn on NFL Network and ESPN and every other network. It's wall for wall what happened to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they're just, that's what they get. That star in the helmet, I guess that's what they get. So 49ers deserve a little bit of credit too. Debo Samuel and that group physically took it to them. I picked the 49ers to win that game. So, but now they're beat up. Warner and Bosa might not play. So we'll see what goes on.
Yeah. Listen, I think we're headed for Bucks and Packers Part 2.
Yeah. All right, my friend, Sal Paolantonio, ESPN, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, Sal Pal. The matchup show all through the playoffs, right? Sunday mornings?
Oh, yeah. Yep, Saturday and Sunday mornings. And on YouTube, you can see the NFL matchup show on ESPN and ESPN+.
29 years running at best X's and O's show in the game. And I'll see you at noon or 12:10 for me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, partner.
All right, I'll see you later. Thanks for having me on the show, JP.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. As always, the great Sal Paolantonio joining us here. We got another date for him to whoop my ass in tennis. I won the first game the other day rather easily and then lost 6 straight. Every game's competitive, but I can't put him away. I'm such a choker when it comes to Sal Pal. All right, we'll take a break and we'll come back. And Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru, is going to join us. We'll break down what was a complete mismatch in the quarterback category yesterday. A complete mismatch. This was Jake Paul against Woodley. It was a knockout. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. Service. Get it now before it's all used up. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any issues with your new construction, commercial or residential, Christopher is the man to represent you. And also, if you have stucco damage, if the sides of your house, you see those cracks that are happening on the side of your house, this is very common in Florida, moisture starts seeping inside. It can really do damage to the inside of your home. Black mold can develop, and you don't even know it. That's a big deal with home insurance companies right now. So if you've dealt with a home insurance company, you don't feel you've gotten a fair settlement, or you feel that you have a case, just give them a call. Go to PalermoPA.com. Contact them. He'll give you a free consultation. He'll tell you whether you have a case or not, and he'll tell you what are the things to look for. So very, very important. Homeowner, any questions online, just go ahead and give him a call. Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. All right, let's bring in our quarterback guru, former AFL, NFL, UConn quarterback, the great Sugar Shane Stafford, joining us now. What's up, partner? How are you?
What's going on, my man? Hey, happy Victory Monday.
Victory Monday, another one for the Buccaneers as they just keep rolling. What is that, 5
Absolutely.
Playoff wins now in the Brady era, and I think that's one less than we've had in the entire Bucs era previous. So
absolutely amazing.
I'm going to say that was a good pickup. I think it was a good pickup. Go ahead and get him Brady. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Going to go out on the limb. And Shane, I mean, when you want to talk about a quarterback mismatch, I mean, Jalen Hurts was awful, bro. He was awful. And Brady was so good. Is he that bad, or was it a bad day for him? Is he just not throw with anticipation, completely inaccurate, late to the party? I mean, It was all that, right?
Yeah, I think it was all that. And he was bad, and he did have a bad day, JP. I mean, I will say this, he missed he missed a throw in the first quarter. I think it might have been the second drive, maybe first drive, second drive. It's irrelevant, but it was early on in the game. And it's what's called a Dover route, which is a deep over.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill gets hit. They hit him on it a lot. We hit some of our guys. We used to hit AB when he was here, and some of the other guys on that route. And basically, it's a deep, really deep cross. And they had the exact look they wanted. They ran an out route with that. It's almost like a post. And he had, I don't know who he had beat,
Goddard.
but the receiver had. I
think it was Goddard, the tight end, was open by 10 yards.
Oh, no, this was one of the receivers.
Okay.
The one I'm talking about. I mean, he was open down the field about 40 yards. And instead of Jalen just sidestepping the rush, he did get a little pressure and letting that thing go and possibly changing the field position. Who knows, field goal, maybe touchdown off that play. But just, not throwing the ball well, and he didn't see the field well at all. He wasn't feeling the rush. He was looking at the rush. He was really bad yesterday, and I honestly don't think the Eagles did a good job, JP, of getting Devontae Smith involved early on some quick stuff. And they just, they were out-coached, out-schemed, and outplayed.
Yeah, the first target for Devontae Smith was a tunnel screen with 1:54 left in the first half. And that's with Jamel Dean playing 10 to 12 yards off in soft coverage. I mean, that's like Brady just takes a snap and throws it out to Mike Evans on a 6-yard hitch, takes the freebie, and if he breaks a tackle, he's down the sideline. And especially if it's Devontae Smith breaks a tackle, it's post time. I mean, it's just
absolutely.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
I
just think it was and Nick Sirianni, he's known, JP, for having a good offensive mind. Unfortunately, I think he's out coached. I really do from what Balls did and what they had prepared and planned. And he just got out coached and he got outplayed, man.
Yeah, even on the touch or the interception by Mike Edwards just before the half. I mean, Jamel Dean literally falls down on a double move. He's wide open, and if you go back and look at that play, he didn't even get pressured. He floated to the left and was not in throwing position, so he couldn't release the ball when he saw Dean fall down. He didn't even need to float. The packet was clean. He just needed to step up and make the damn throw, and it was an easy touchdown.
Absolutely. I mean, right there, the play I was talking about, and then that play as well.
It's 14
if you're going to miss that throw, you can't miss it inside.
No.
You cannot miss it. It looked like it was like either man free or two-man, cover two-man type of deal where he did have some help over the top. But you missed that. You got to miss that in the back of the end zone where it's ours or nobody type of thing for Philly. And, he was missing throws. He was making poor reads. He just, he didn't have a good game. And obviously the playoffs, that's not when you want to have your bad games.
And I was just talking with Sal Pal about this, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this as a quarterback who's run no huddle. The Bucs come out and start the game that way. I don't think they've done that all year long. So there's a little wrinkle that, the Brady kind of saves for postseasons. It's great the way he does that as the offense evolves. And he said it afterwards, you got to win different ways, especially as you advance in the playoffs. But how hard is it to come out in a playoff game and from the very beginning, the first 2-3 drives, no huddle, up tempo? I mean, you got to have a group that is smart, knows how to execute, doesn't get flustered, and a great quarterback. And on a windy day, those short, crisp passes. What brilliant strategy and what brilliant execution.
And you hit the nail on the head with that second part of the execution. It's great strategy, no doubt.
Right.
But JP, I've been on the other side of that where you start no huddle and you go 3 and out, and then you go 3 and out again. And next thing you know, you're down 2 scores. So it can go the other way. But I think it was obviously a brilliant strategy, and it was well executed. I will say this: that penalty they got against Philadelphia on that first drive, that was huge to continue that drive. So
that's
a little bit of Brady magic.
It's a terrible
wasn't a great call. But it was a great little strategy. And if we had done it in the past, it may have been 1 or 2 other times, if that. But it was a great little change up. It allowed us to get in a rhythm, and it allowed us to get up 2 scores and take their running game, make it non-existent.
Yeah. What did you think of Brady's ability to kind of early on, Perriman drops a ball, runs a bad route on the outside, doesn't get outside to a ball. Tyler Johnson coming across the middle on a third down, doesn't continue to run. Looks like a bad ball, but it wasn't. And Brady got pissed right away. And, that's I mean, and they didn't do that again. They straightened that out pretty quick.
I think Brady's, his temperament showed a little bit, his competitiveness, and I wouldn't even say anger, but his competitiveness, man. The guy wants to be perfect and as close to it as possible. And you're right. I do think that even though they were shorter throws, sometimes those gusts, I wasn't at the game. You were there. You could probably attest to it better than I can.
Yeah, it was bad.
But it looked like, it didn't look like a typical day in Tampa Bay with that wind. And I do think with the wind, some of those balls, they do get off, maybe 2 to 3 inches, and they can adjust. But there is no doubt there was a little bit of uncertainty with the receivers running those routes. On that one that you were talking about where he slowed down, you can't do that to a quarterback. He reads your shoulders. If you're a quarterback and you see a receiver running, you're expecting him to continue to run, not in the middle of your throw to then slow down.
Right.
It was definitely on receiver. And then the other one that was dropped, that was a little high, but again, I think that was more so just a little bit of the wind. And then they did get that corrected extremely quick, and made sure that wasn't going to be a problem the rest of the game. But yeah, those things, it can happen when you're not used to those guys all the time, or those guys aren't used to what the quarterback is expecting. And they did fix it quick.
Sugar Shane Stafford joining us here. All right, so Tristan Wirfs goes down. Josh Wells is also injured. And he's a turnstile. I tell you what, this is going to be a big problem for the Buccaneers. Whoever they play next week, whether it be Arizona or the Rams, both bring a serious pass rush. And I think the Bucs are going to have to adjust in some way and help out this tackle. What does that do to your team if you have to take a Gronk and do a chip, or take an OJ Howard or just double team an outside guy, whether it be a Leonard Floyd or whomever's going to be rushing the quarterback? What does that do to your offense?
You can still run. You can still run your base offense. And all you do then is you're chipping with guys and then just leaking them out into the flat, or leaking them down, to wherever your little check down areas that they would normally get to anyway. You just have to be a little bit more creative with your protection schemes and different things like that. You could tell Tristan Wirfs when he came back in, he could not plant on that right leg at all. Right. He got his butt whooped on that one sack when he came in. And to your point, JP, it's going to have a little bit of an effect with depth. That's the issue. We can't really have any more injuries up there. And then when Jensen went down, but he came back in, he's a tough SOB.
Gamer,
but he's like your quarterback's dream as a center. But those guys will do anything for Brady, and they have utmost respect for him. But overall, I agree. And I even made that comment when they had those few injuries up there up front. I say, this game looks to be, handled with us up 14-0. And I highly doubted that the Eagles were going to make a comeback against, Brady and the Bucs and what we were doing. We had a great game plan, but I made that comment to everybody I was watching it with. And I said, I'm not worried about this game. I'm worried about next week and whoever it is that we may be playing in the following week. So it's going to be more of a concern with depth than I think it will be from a schematic standpoint, because as you saw in that game, they started using like your jumbo package or your big package, where they bring in an extra lineman, or they go 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends at times, like we talked about a few weeks ago, potentially doing. So there's ways to, and that may be another reason why you saw some of the shorter passes along with the wind, but just because that may be a way that you have to beat teams at times. And Brady can throw it 50 times and complete 70% of them without a doubt. We've seen him do it in New England. We've seen it do it here.
No question about it. And I think this might be a week if indeed Josh Wells is hurt, or maybe even if he's healthy, he's just not that good in that role.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Alex Kappa played tackle in college and guard. He's, and Aaron Stinney played great right guard last year. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bucs moved Kappa out to right tackle and put Stinney in at right guard, who played so well in the playoffs last year. I think that would be honestly their best lineup, because obviously, Kappa has become a really, really good offensive lineman. I think he's versatile enough to do it. Would you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, JP. And that's something you have to give credit to front office and people that are drafting those guys, getting those dual type of linemen that can play guard, center, tackle, guard type of thing. So you do create depth just from the standpoint that they can play multiple positions. So that's a great idea. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they come along with something like that. But whatever it's going to be, like I said, there are ways to help out with protection schemes. The big thing is you have to be solid in the middle. And with Jensen, when he went down, that was the one that really scared me, because if your mainstay, your stud there in the middle goes down, not that Worst isn't a stud, he's really developed into a heck of a player.
Yeah.
It's because that's where, Brady, that's when he has trouble, is when things are in his face, as any quarterback does,
right,
where you can't step up in the pocket. So, as long as we can maintain that guard and center area and keep a nice solid pocket for Brady to step up and make throws from the pocket, which he's done so well in his entire career, because he's not the one that's going to escape outside of the pocket.
Right.
He's likely to want to step up and, even on his runs that he's had his career long with the Bucs of what, I don't know, like 15 yards or something.
Yeah.
It's him stepping up and not outrunning people to the sideline like some of these more athletic quarterbacks do.
Yeah, he don't need to bother with any of that. He'll just hit the ground and get you on the next play. Sugar Shane Stafford joining us here. All right, let's talk about some of the other quarterbacks, and specifically Dak Prescott yesterday, and the debacle at the end of the game. That did not go well. It just didn't look like Dallas was prepared for that moment. And just, as not that the 49ers are obviously a very good team, good defense, but I expected Dak and the Cowboys to be better on offense than they were yesterday.
I completely agree. That was a debacle. That from start to finish for them offensively, even defensively. I mean, they kind of settled down a little bit defensively, but they let San Fran go up and down that field in the first half there on them quite a bit and got behind, and again, couldn't really run the ball as much as they wanted to. They even went some jumbo packages there a little bit at times with Pollard in at running back. But, I don't understand that draw. I get it, but with that little amount of time, I thought for sure they were going to throw almost like a little quick slant or something.
Yeah.
Because, they were defending, obvious, everybody could see it. They're defending the sidelines, and there was nobody in the middle of the field. And if you throw something really quick to a speedy receiver, he gets there much quicker than Dak Prescott does.
Yeah.
There's not so much of a craziness going on. So I don't know, man. I saw this morning, it was like all over ESPN was talking about it and stuff. And it just, McCarthy and Dak were trying to, have each other's back there and whatnot. But it just, I didn't think it was if there's 30 seconds left, okay, great, cool, good call, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But not with that short amount of time, man.
No, I totally agree. And it looked like they were just unprepared for the moment. Not giving the ball to the ref, trying to spot the ball yourself. It's just, those details Brady and the Bucs would never screw up, they're just, and this, see it so across the league this entire weekend. There was so many elementary fundamental mistakes that were made by so many teams that you just don't see the Bucs make a whole lot. And I think that's a credit.
Right.
And we give Brady all the credit for this, but Arians came in here in 2019. He was like, look, we got to, the Bucs have to stop beating the Bucs. And they put up the accountability board. And, the first season, with Jameis was, not great, obviously, but you could see that they were moving in the right direction. Is getting the second half of that season, their defense was playing smarter. The offense was playing smarter at points. Jameis was still giving the ball away. But, they had a lot of injuries at the end of that year, but you could see it coming. And the accountability and the lack of mental mistakes that the Bucs make now compared to the old Bucs is night and day. And I give Arians and Brady credit for that.
Yeah, and to your point, and to that point, when Arians, I forget who it was that got the personal foul for taking off their helmet.
Carlton Davis.
Yeah.
They were all over his ass when he got
to
to the sideline.
Oh, didn't he?
Oh my
And
God!
the only way you can do that, the only way you can do that as a head coach is if you have the entire respect of the team, and that just shows you the respect they have for their head coach, their leader off the field. To be able to get into somebody's butt the way he did and respond the way Davis did, and my fault, and because you're right though, those were the mistakes that were killing us, you know, 3-4 years ago consistently.
Dumb penalties, and you saw the Eagles make a lot of those dumb penalties. All right, so the 49ers advanced, and boy, Jimmy Garoppolo, though, my Lord, what a terrible throw at the end of the game. You just can't throw a pick in that situation. My God, that was up 2 scores in that situation.
Yeah, he played a pretty good game overall. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do in that game. He made some throws throughout, but you're right, man. One mistake could have haunted them, and then everybody would be talking about how Jimmy G just isn't the right guy for them, and they need to move on from him. But wins kind of cure everything, and he's got to make sure, he doesn't do that again, because that will, against a better team as they move on, that will cause them to lose football games.
Yeah, Garoppolo is 16 of 25 for 172, no touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR is 60.6. Dak was 23 of 43, 254, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 23 of 43, 20 incompletions for a quarterback rating of 27.1, got sacked 5 times. I mean, that's awful. With the talent they have
were
on
all
that
over
offense.
and their best.
Yeah.
And the thing is, San Fran's best pass rusher didn't play like the entire second half. I don't think.
Right.
In both, so it's they need to get some things corrected. They talk about how good that offensive line is and different things. I personally think where in the beginning of the season, Dak, I don't know, it seemed like he understood the protections better, and he was sliding protections and checking protections at the line of scrimmage early on and getting into run plays when they needed to and out of them when they needed to. It just seems like teams are out scheming them, and they're getting out coached at times. And I don't know, because I'm not in the facilities, if that's Dak not, executing what they're trying to get done, or if that's just lack of being prepared for what you may see and how to adjust in-game adjustments.
Yeah, you just don't know. And how about Josh Allen? 21 of 25, 308 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a 98.5 QBR. And he ran 6 times for 66 yards. Not too shabby.
You really can't. Yeah, against the Belichick coach defense. That was tremendous to watch, especially in those conditions too. Everybody's talking about how he doesn't play well in cold weather. The great ones step up when it's most important, and that's why you're seeing Kansas City really do well. I mean, granted, they played probably the worst team that was in the playoffs at the time that snuck in there, but between Josh Allen and what they did out there in KC last night, you really understand why those two teams are going to be competing for the AFC Championship, or more than likely will be, in potential Super Bowl. Guys for the AFC, representing the AFC, man, those two offenses really did look like the top tier offenses that everybody expected them to be.
Well, tonight I think it's going to be a fascinating game. I love that we have a Monday night playoff game too. Arizona goes to the Rams. Stafford has just been so inconsistent, turning the ball over. Arizona, I'm interested. They've been inconsistent as well. So I'm interested to see which way this goes. And of course, the winner has to travel across the nation to come visit us Sunday at 3:00. So I like that whole deal. East Coast coming West Coast on a short week. That was a nice little present for Tom Brady. Thank you, NFL.
Yeah, seriously. And not only that, playing an earlier game, not your 4:00 game, but that's 12:00 their time, and that will be interesting on how all that plays out there. But like you said earlier, you're going against two really good defensive pass rushing teams, and it's going to be interesting. Whichever team we play, it'll be interesting to see how, like we were talking about, how we do protect. And if we do that, I think we have a really good shot of moving on to the NFC Championship.
Going to be a cold day in Green Bay with a full house, a little different than last year's very temperate 20 degrees with half a stadium. So we're gonna rue the day we lost to the Washington football team, because that eventually cost us that number 1 seed. I know. All right, partner, great stuff as always. Let's check in a little bit later on the week when we find out who we're playing. We'll do a little preview on Friday. What do you say?
That sounds great, my man. I can't wait.
All right. Go get your tape study done. Thanks, buddy.
Here.
Stafford there. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, John Clark will join us from NBC Philadelphia, their main anchor there. He was sitting in front of me yesterday in the press box, moaning and groaning, doing all kinds of stuff. I was like, man, no cheering in the press box. Of course, you can't cheer when your team sucks. So, we'll talk to Johnny Clark next. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. JP here from my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defect, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-96. That's Valspar
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. As I'm going to welcome in our good friend John Clark from NBC Philadelphia. We are brought to you in the second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical. We'll talk more about them in a little bit. What's up, John? How are you, my friend? How's things in Philly today? I know you're not back there, but this game could not be well received by Philly fans at all, huh?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. I think Philly fans were extremely disappointed that the Eagles didn't really compete in the playoff game, but this is the way it is in Philly. Last night, after the Cowboys lost the way they did, I sent out a couple tweets on Twitter, and people said that the sting has kind of been taken away from the Eagles' loss with the way the Cowboys went down. So there's as much hatred for the Cowboys as love for the Eagles.
Oh, Philly fan is really special. By the way, I had warned a lot of the Buccaneer fans, don't take the bite, don't involve fights, and evidently they filled the jails to capacity after the game or during the game yesterday. There was a couple scuffles. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you at all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. We're used to
it. We're not. All right, so talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts, if you would. Obviously, I haven't watched all the games this year, and I'm watching the Eagles from afar thinking, this kid's playing well. He leads them to the playoffs. He's got to have a little something. But I don't think Nick Sirianni did him any favors with the game plan, not targeting Devontae Smith until 2 minutes left in the first half. Was that Jalen Hurts or just a bad game plan or both?
Well, I think it's Todd Bowles and a Super Bowl defense as well. I think Todd Bowles and that defense basically said, hey, we are going to challenge you, Jalen Hurts, to try to beat us in the passing game. And they stacked the box. They had everybody up on the line of scrimmage. They challenged everybody. They were aggressive. And once the Bucs basically shut down the Eagles running game, you're making the Eagles one-dimensional. And Nick Sirianni talked about the run blitzes that the Bucs ran that were very effective.
Yeah.
And they shut down the running game. And right now in Jalen's career, first year as a starter with a new coach, he is not able to win a game on his own in the passing game. And I don't know if he was pressing. I don't know if it was the defense that Todd Bowles was running, where he's mixing up coverages, where he's switching things up, disguising things. I mean, Todd Bowles is one of the absolute best at that, and he's going to bring it.
Yep.
And Jalen Hurts was pressured on almost 40% of his dropbacks. So I think it has to do with both. But I got to give you credit. Tampa Bay, going into this game, I think people in Philadelphia forgot that this is the team that won the Super Bowl last year.
Yep.
And a lot of people can talk about Tom Brady, greatest quarterback ever, but that defense won the Super Bowl last year and what they did against the Chiefs. So I think it was a combination of both. I think Jalen Hurts is going to learn a lot from this and grow. Do I think he can be a franchise quarterback that can win a Super Bowl with the Eagles? I don't think so at this point. He's got to make major leaps in the passing game.
Yeah.
But I think he can be a quarterback that can get you to the playoffs and maybe win a round.
So you think with the 3 first-round picks that the Eagles have next year, that are they going to go after a veteran, or are they going to try to get maybe a Kenny Pickett in this draft who might be available? I mean, most people think this draft class quarterback-wise is awful. And there are obviously some veteran quarterbacks out there, and that seems to be kind of a template now. Like the Rams went and got Matthew Stafford. To some degree, the Colts went and got Carson Wentz. Obviously, the Bucs got Brady. Would they be more suited to go get an experienced quarterback? Which way do you think they'll go?
I agree with you. I don't think the quarterbacks in this draft are good enough to take one of them in the first round and believe they're going to be a franchise quarterback. I think the Eagles are going to exhaust all of the possibilities. I think they are always in search of that franchise quarterback. So if Russell Wilson is available, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, the Eagles are going to be all over that. And I think they'll judge how many draft picks and what it's going to take to get one of those guys versus we have Jalen Hurts. Let's give him another year. Let's see how he does and add 3 quality players in the first round of the draft. And they're going to have $30 million or more to spend in free agency. So I think it's going to be based on how much these teams are going to want for those franchise quarterbacks. But honestly, nothing is out of the picture when it comes to this, because it doesn't matter who they have at quarterback. And you've seen teams do this now more than ever.
Yeah.
They are going to chase that quarterback. Jared Goff, okay, he's decent, but not good enough to get us to a Super Bowl and win one. So we're going to go after Matthew Stafford. So it's all on the table.
Very interesting what they're going to do in the offseason. John Clark, NBC lead anchor in Philadelphia. So what was your sense of this Buccaneers crowd that you saw yesterday, the atmosphere for this game? I mean, Philly obviously puts on as good a home field advantage as any, but that crowd yesterday was as loud as I've heard it since 2002. They were on it, and not as many Eagle fans as I thought were there. What was your thoughts on the atmosphere?
Yeah, listen, I think when you don't know your playoff opponent and, it's a week away, it is very tough to get those tickets if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Normally, out in LA and all these other places, I've seen like half and half, or maybe even more Eagles fans than Rams fans or Chargers fans. But so I think that the tight turnaround was tough. And look, Tampa Bay down here, I mean, I see Tom Brady all over the billboards around town. I mean, this is a huge thing here. I mean, a Super Bowl in his first year here. So I was impressed with the fans. I will say some of my Eagles friends or Eagles fans' friends that were in the stands were saying, I got to tell you, they were loud, but it ain't nothing like Philly. So it's just a different atmosphere when you're down here in the nice weather. I showed up at the stadium and I see a juggler. I see the big pirate on stilts, the Buccaneers out there. The beach, I mean, it's a different scene. There's palm trees. It's a different feeling. Up in Philly, it's like, it's cold, it's gritty. We're coming here to kick some butt. Dark, yeah. So I was impressed, though, with the fans. And, I think that Tom Brady and that offense, when you have that offensive line all healthy, they're going to block it up. And Tom Brady gets that ball out so quick that he just controls the game. And it's almost like, if you don't have, Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, any of these guys that can just beat double teams, you know, it's going to be a long day for any team. And that's why, what is it? They've scored over 30 points in 5 straight playoff games. I mean, you know, it is an offense, even without Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin, that is a lot of times unstoppable.
Yeah, it's amazing how Brady they just plug in guys or without their 2 top running backs. I think Fox put up something on Aaron Andrews' hit before the game with Leonard Fournette out and Godwin and AB and everybody. They were out 50% of their offensive productivity, and they still go out and come out no huddle, by the way, which I don't think a lot of people have talked about. No huddle, executed to perfection, short, crisp passes, go right down the field and put the Eagles down 14-0, where they got to come out of their run game almost immediately. And that was huge too.
Absolutely. And this is exactly what the Bucs did in the first game against the Eagles. The Eagles knew what was coming with the short, quick passing game, and they still couldn't get to Tom Brady. And look, I do think Josh Sweat, who was the best pass rusher for the Eagles the second half of the year, I think that was a big loss not having him. But it was going to be tough anyway, especially when you can put Mike Evans in the spot on Monte Maddox. That's a tough matchup. So, you know, the Bucs have the players to win matchups all over the field, and that defense is so impressive with their aggressiveness and their speed. I think they're going to be a tough out once again, and it's a possibility they're in that NFC title game again and going to the Super Bowl.
So, I mean, you mentioned all the, you know, accoutrement that we have here at the football game. You folks from Philly, I mean, you got to be jealous, right, of Tampa Bay at this point. You got to be jealous. I mean, all the championships, the beautiful weather. I mean, it's got to be hard for a Philly guy to watch that on TV and then just go outside. It's 2 degrees. It's got to be tough, bro. I'm just thought I'd bring that
Ouch,
up.
man. I'm going to get on a plane soon to go back to Philly, and you're pumping me with this. You know, I mean, I'm going to lose. I mean, look, it's a little chilly today in Tampa Bay. That was the funny thing yesterday. I show up to the game. I think it was like 63 degrees. Yeah, it was windy. But I saw some of these women in like winter coats and knit caps, and they were like shivering and like rubbing their hands together. And she said she had to go get a sweater and had to get a scarf. And I'm like, it's 63 degrees.
They were soft.
Like,
but the wind chill was 52, bro. The wind chill was 52. So, you know, come on.
You're a little soft down here, a little bit soft, but I get it. The blood thins out when you're down here, and it's beautiful, and you get caught up in it. And I'm about to get on a plane, and I think it's like 10 degrees when I get back.
But you get to play a little tennis before you go. Well, yeah, don't forget our boat parades. Boat parades are fun too. So,
you know what? I'll tell you, I saw the video of that, and then I ate at a restaurant right on the boat parade, and I said, this is a great area, and I could be down with a boat parade. We're going to do that in Philly one time on the Delaware River.
Iced over. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Fantastic, fantastic idea. All right, partner. Always good to chat with you, and hope maybe we'll see the Flyers in the playoffs coming up. We'll get that going again a little bit. No, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Nope. Now the Flyers ain't doing it. Sixers are the hope in Philly right now. Hopefully they will make a trade for Ben Simmons, trade him and get another asset. We'll see, but they're playing really well right now. I know basketball is not big in this area.
No,
right?
We don't give a rat's ass about the NBA. We had the Raptors down here during COVID, and like nobody even went to the games until, you know, LeBron or Steph came, and then they don't even play in games like that, you know, when they're on the road. So no, we're not real big basketball folks here. You know, we just, you know, stick to the hockey and the baseball and all that good stuff. So, and our football team's pretty good too. So we're enjoying life. I mean, I'd tell you to come down, but you'd have to take like a $500,000 pay cut, you know? So I don't think you're doing that. Yeah.
It's worth it for the tennis, though.
Absolutely, bro. All right. Well, I'll see you in a little bit. So get dressed and get everything on, and we'll head on and play a little before you get a little slice of Tampa heaven before you go back to the hellhole that is Philadelphia. Sorry. I that just slipped out.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Way to send me off, man.
All right, John Clark. Follow him on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
It is J. Clark NBCS.
Yeah,
so John Clark, basically with NBC Sports Philadelphia, Instagram, Twitter, and podcast. Just had Malcolm on, by the way. He was going to give us the secret sauce about beating the Bucs and Tom Brady because, you know, they swept them this year, but they're not in the playoffs.
Every time they sweep us, we win a Super Bowl. That's how that works. So it's just
good thing.
It's all a setup. All right, Johnny. Thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
Take care.
Great John Clark there. Follow him on Twitter. Listen to his podcast. He good people. All right, we'll take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to start getting into more of the Buccaneers sound. No more guests the rest of the way. Nick Geddes has an unbelievable story on his trip to Buffalo this weekend. First time he ever got on a plane, and, well, we'll let him tell you. It's tremendous. And wait till you hear what happened when he got to Buffalo. Oh, my God, those people are just – they're a-holes. We'll talk about it next. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company. He was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies did get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Hurts takes the snap and looks upfield. Delay blitz picked up. Hurts flush. Throws the ball upfield. It is bad. It's intercepted. Picked off at the 50. Outside the numbers, the Buccaneers. It is Shaquille Barrett. Barrett still running inside the 35. Shaq Barrett tips it in the sky.
What a play by Shaq Barrett. And that was a play very indicative of the whole game where the Bucs bring a little exotic blitz, a little zone blitz. They drop Barrett into coverage, and he was very, as we'll hear from Mike Evans here in a little while. He tells everybody that he has the best drops and the best hands on the defense. So, well, he proved it right there. And the Bucs score one play later with Mike Evans, make it 24-0, and it was game over as they win their first playoff game in Raymond James Stadium since 2002. My goodness. By the way, the second hour of the JP Peterson Show brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and Dr. Christopher Lugo. It is a very different kind of approach to primary care, personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. They take great care to find out what's going on with you and do besides writing a script. There's so many things you could do to keep yourself in shape, and that's what Bay Area Modern Medical Center is all about. They're proactive at looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Instead of that impersonal, rushed approach where the doctor comes in, talks to you for 5 minutes, writes a script, and leave, you will have our full attention. And they also do anti-aging regenerative medicine that will optimize your body's performance in many areas. As we like to say at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is very much avoidable. Testosterone replacement, not a frivolous treatment, folks. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. When do you hear all these testosterone clinics on the radio? You hear them talking about emotional stability. It's a very big part of testosterone replacement. Hormone replacement treatment will affect your emotional stability. So if you're not looking at that part of it, you're not doing it right. So Bay Area Modern Medical Center, we highly recommend them. Dr. Christopher Lugo, you can find them at BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com. Check out their website. It's very, very different. And to make an appointment, tell them JP sent you. All right, before we get to some more Buccaneers sound, Nick Geddes, Outkick.com. You were all set this weekend. You're going up to Buffalo. You're going to fly in a plane for your first trip ever at age 22. How'd it turn out, brother?
Everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Debacle.
Get on the plane, and I had major anxiety. I'm trying to get over it. You know, I'm doing my breathing apparatuses, all that kind of stuff.
No drugs or alcohol?
No drugs or alcohol. I may or may not have taken a Xanax before.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. That's fair.
But I'm there, you know?
Right.
And we're like next in line to go. And then all of a sudden,
on the tarmac.
Yeah, on the tarmac, plane stops. And the pilot comes over the intercom and says, we have a small issue with the plane.
On your first flight.
My first flight. We're going to try to fix it right here.
Where'd your heart rate go? Right,
oh, it was pretty big. Probably up 140 maybe. I don't know. It was going. And long story short, we had to go back to the gate. They get us off the plane. We're waiting around.
And you said you were getting off that plane anyway.
Well, I wanted to wait and see. But then I went over to the window, and they got the engine on the impeller open, wide open, and somebody's head's in there looking through it. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Y'all are working on the engine. I'm not getting on that plane. And so by this time, we're probably going to be late to the game.
Right, because you're leaving at 3.
Yeah, this plane was supposed to leave at 3, and at this point, it's like 5 something. You know, it's going to be really tight.
Kickoff 8, right?
8:15. It's going to be really tight now.
Right.
And we're just kind of waiting around. We decide we're probably not going to go. We're talking to some other people. Everybody on the flight's going to the game for the most part.
Right.
Right. And then they come over the thing. They got us a new plane. We're going to board in 5-10 minutes, and we're going to go. So we're like, all right, we'll go. We're going to be late, but let's make the most of it. We have all this money invested in it. Let's go. Let's have a good time.
Right.
So we get there. I'm on the plane, which was fine, by the way. I got over my fear of flying.
Good.
Get to Buffalo, Uber straight to the game, get to the front, and we were not allowed into the game.
You had valid tickets.
And they wouldn't even look at them. Didn't even give them a time
halftime. They wouldn't let you in.
Yeah.
Why did they say they wouldn't let you in?
It was a blowout, and he looked at us. We were wearing, or my friend was wearing Patriots garb. I guess I had Patriots colors on. I had a red coat on.
Right.
And he said, "The game's over. Why do you want to come in here?" Is what the security guy said. And we told him our entire story. We have valid tickets, all this stuff. Did not care whatsoever. Tells us to go to gate 3. We walk to gate 3, explain to him everything, won't let us in. And the entire time, we're just getting, by the way, Bill's Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
You can hype that all you want. That is the biggest assholes I've ever been around in my life.
Mean people.
I've never had so many people say F you right to your face and call you an asshole just for walking.
I mean, they've endured a lot of pain at the hands of the Patriots.
I understand, but it was unlike anything I've seen. Unlike anything. I mean, they're throwing beer cans at you, kicking beer cans at you.
That's not cool.
And the event staff won't let you in because you're wearing Patriots gear.
That's complete bullshit. You can't do that.
And then he tells us to go to the head of security or event, whatever. He looks us up and down and says, "Go F yourself and your mother."
And your mother.
And your mother.
Brought your mom into it.
Brought your mom into it, too.
I got valid tickets. I want to go in the game. It's the worst day of my life. I at least want to go in, take some pictures. I was there for the beatdown.
By the way. It's -6 degrees.
It's -6 degrees.
You know, I just want to go in. I literally just, at that point, I just wanted to go in and take a picture and get the hell out of Buffalo.
Right.
Right? So
what a debacle.
That was over. And then I got to find my Uber. I got no idea where it's picking me up. It's 45 minutes. The game at this point, all this time, it's gone. It's over. Everybody's coming out. We're getting berated by everybody. And I'm asking people, nobody's helping you find where the Uber is because you're wearing Patriot stuff. And it's just ridiculous at that point. And I ask an event guy or a parking attendant, "Where's lot A?" And he goes, "No clue. Keep walking." No clue. Keep walking.
See that, and you're kicking their ass. You think you would take a little bit of glee and go, "Hey, you guys don't just go lose Brady, and suddenly you got nothing. Your Belichick sucks without Brady." You could give them all that, but go, parking lot A is over there. I mean, just be human. Be human.
So after that debacle, we had plans to go and explore Buffalo a little bit out downtown. You know, the bars are open until 4 o'clock in Buffalo.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, get some wings maybe.
Yeah,
Niagara
Buffalo
Falls
wings,
in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, F all that.
No.
F all that.
Forget it.
I could have
get me
got
out of here.
I wanted just to get out of Buffalo. I went straight to the hotel. In the morning, got up, tried Tim Hortons, which I always wanted to try. It was very good.
Yeah.
And then I went home. That was it. And that was my trip to Buffalo.
Man, I'm sorry. That sucks.
It
sucks.
It did. But I got my picture. So if you saw, I put a nice little picture of me outside the stadium, and that's as close as I got.
Well, I hope he gets his tickets refunded.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope so too.
Yeah, you should be embarrassed, Buffalo. That's just ridiculous. And when it's just football.
And when we got on the plane, by the way, the next day with all the people that were mostly Bills fans, they got in the game.
They all went at halftime and got in the game.
They all got in the game. We did not.
That's crap. You can't do that. You just can't do that. Even in Buffalo, and if it's New England, that's bull crap.
Yep.
The NFL, you should be embarrassed by that. Buffalo, you should be embarrassed by that. That's terrible. You know, people give us crap for allowing too many of the other fans in, but I'd rather be us and be welcoming of people because it's just a human being and not be so over the top, partisan about stuff like this that you can't be a human being. I mean, that's crap.
You can't even imagine actually being in the stadium based on the way we were treated outside of it.
Oh my God! You probably better off not going in.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they were throwing things at you. I mean, that's just come on. People.
I mean, it was nuts. I've never seen it looked like a college tailgate times 100 with how many beer cans were everywhere on this thing. Everywhere.
Wow.
You don't see that stuff usually in NFL stadiums, but it was everywhere.
Yeah, that's disappointing. You guys got to be better than that. I understand partisan thing, but that's just bullshit.
At some point, it's got to go. You got to leave it behind, right?
Yeah. And I only saw one video of a fight in the stands at Raymond James.
Yeah.
And it was a guy wearing a Latte David shirt, and I was beating the living hell out of this Eagles fan. I couldn't tell how it started or who started it, but he was beating the living hell out of him. And I was like, and the cops were not reacting very quickly to it. And once he started beating the hell out of the guy, they ran up there pretty quick. But I was like, and the guy that was doing the play-by-play was pretty funny. It's on my Twitter. I retweeted it. You got to say, I was like, apparently number 54, my sources are telling me will be activated for the game because he was wearing a Labatte David. He was very active for the game.
I even saw, I don't know if you saw or not, the guys from Loose Cannons, they were up in the upper deck yesterday, and they were getting like security was around them yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, like Sommer and Stank and Devin, they were all up there, and security was like talking to them, and they're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And they were just kind of harassing them, it looks like.
Why?
Which is really odd.
Harassing our own fans? Were they doing something wrong?
Yeah, we're going to have to find out from Devin what really happened there.
All right, yeah, we'll get on it. But there was have you seen any other videos besides the one I posted?
No, not besides the one, the 54 going at it there.
Yeah, he was active for the game, no doubt. All right, let's get back to some of the sound. Let's listen to Mike Evans talking about the day he had 9 catches, 117 yards. That's new number 13 from Mike on his own game yesterday.
I did decent. There's a couple other players I could have been better at. Perimeter blocking, touchdown I could add the first half. Yeah. But I did a solid job. I was waiting for this moment. Whenever the ball comes my way, I try to make the play.
And he also talked about getting man coverage. Wasn't a lot of it, but a little bit of it. And they certainly took advantage when he got that man coverage, number 14.
It wasn't as much as I'm saying. I mean, it was a good amount for us to catch him in it. But the first time we played him was mainly all zone. Even though Slay followed me, it was like zone matchups. But today we got the man coverage and we took advantage when we could.
And somebody asked him, is he ever amazed by what Brady can do, and possibly take it for granted how good Brady is?
I don't ever take it for granted. I don't. When he came to this team, I knew it was going to be. He was going to change the franchise, and he's done that and then some. He makes sure we're all ready to play. He makes sure we know what we're doing, and he makes sure that we're giving it our all. That's all you can ask from a leader.
Man, he does all that, and you see the way the Bucs play so differently since Brady has arrived. We talked a lot about this in the first segment. It's just they play with so much more intelligence and so much more attention to detail, and it's such a difference maker in the playoffs. I mean, you see the debacle at the end of the Cowboys game. You watch Garoppolo making a huge turnover late in the game, and just look around the league and just some of these teams doing a lot of stupid things, and they get bounced out of the playoffs real quickly and do stuff like that. Brady's so good at it, and it's not just Brady; it's Arians as well. This is as well coached team as I've seen in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't take it for granted because the Bucs used to be that team.
Yeah,
they used to be that team.
100%.
I go back to the first game of the Brady era there in New Orleans, where the Bucs look like the old Bucs.
The old Bucs, yeah.
And to see how far they've come now. I mean, how many penalties did they have yesterday? Like 3 or 4, maybe. I mean, not many. They weren't really killing themselves at all, and it's been that way all year long. So. And that's what you got to do to win Super Bowls. That's what you got to do. You got to be buttoned up, and the Eagles and the Cowboys and other teams like that yesterday, not buttoned up.
No, and penalties you don't even think about a lot of different times because it's kind of when you get them and what situation. The Bucs had 4 for 35. Is that right? Yeah, 4 for 35, and the Eagles had 4 for 45. But every one of their penalties was huge.
Yes,
they negated. There was one, and I gotta say the roughing call on Brady early on was a 2nd and 10. They still could have gotten the first down, then gotten the touchdown. But I would say that cost them at least 4 points, if not 7 points. And that was a terrible call. I mean, Barnett eased up, did hit him in the hip, did not hit him in the knees, grabbed his knee, but it laid him on the ground. I mean, that's just again. I call for the NFL to make a change in this roughing rule. I know you're trying to protect the passers, but let's have it just like the kickers. A roughing the passer and a running into the passer. Running into the passer should be 5 yards. Roughing the passer 15 and an automatic first down. But that's running into the passer, and it should be 5 yards. And then it would have been 2nd and 5 instead of a first down of 15 yards. So that was a bad call. And then there was a call on a screen pass, a holding on Kelsey. That was a terrible call. That was another terrible call. And he had another holding call later on in the game that was on Vita Vea. He grabbed his jersey. He was getting steamrolled.
Blew him up on that play.
Yeah. And but I you see the Cincinnati Raiders game?
Oh, the refs.
Jerome Boger's crew?
Yeah, and they will not work the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, that was awful. That's bad. I mean, it just got to be better than that. You got to be better than that. And I didn't get a chance to watch the whole Cowboys game because I was working with the Lightning, and but 14 penalties. That's a lot of penalties.
They were disaster. And everybody today is focusing on the play at the end.
Right.
And I get it. It's the last thing you saw, but 14 penalties right there. They're saying it's second most by any team in a playoff game in history. You don't deserve to win football games when you do stuff like
Dak
that.
had 20 incompletions.
20 incompletions.
23 of 43.
And you're playing against a team that was without Nick Bosa, without Fred Warner. They gave you every opportunity. They were trying.
They played part of the game. Warner came back, but
they were trying to lose that game at the end, were they not? Jimmy Garoppolo was the reason why the team was getting in there, because he kind of just flipped a little bit, and they couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, Garoppolo, played well early on, but you still have question marks about him. And now they got to go up to Green Bay. We'd love to see the 49ers beat Green Bay.
That would be awesome. I think they can, too. I think they can.
Yeah, Warner's got to be healthy and Bosa's got to be healthy. Bosa's got a concussion.
They got to be healthy, but, Deebo Samuel especially, he's hard to stop. He really is hard to stop. And
the run game's hard to stop.
Yeah, they have something going on right now there at San Fran.
Yeah, but without those two, they got no shot.
Oh, no.
They got no shot against a rested Green Bay team. Let's hear Evans talk about his defense. Let's play number 16 for Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the best defenses in the league, and they definitely proved it today. All week they were talking about how when we played them earlier in the year, they started to score at the end of the game, and we took our foot off the gas, and we wanted to start fast, and our defense started really fast, and we held with a couple scores in the first half.
Yeah, I asked Jamel Dean, just about the attitude of the defense and the intensity of the defense, and he said, man, we were hyped by the crowd, and we were hyped by Philadelphia, what they said in their meeting. Jalen Hurts said, we should be able to run the ball, so we'll be okay. They took that personally. They had 36 yards rushing in the first half. Todd Bowles is a brilliant game plan, and it executed so well by Winfield and Mike Edwards coming up and playing on the line of scrimmage, run blitzing. That first RPO they did on 3rd and 3, Devin White and Whitehead aggressive to the mesh point and just knocked him for a 3-yard loss. I think that set the tone.
Yeah, and all that talk about the Eagles were going to run the ball, and
I thought they were.
The weather, the weather was going to play a part, and Brady, for whatever reason, was the one being questioned about the weather. Oh, please! Like I said, how are you going to stop Tom Brady? Was the question, and the answer is you got nothing. And by the way, we've made it through this show an hour and 40 minutes, and we haven't even brought up your boy Keyshawn Vaughn, who I will retract some of my statements from last week. He did play pretty well yesterday in a lead back role, and especially Gio Bernard as well, getting in there. 83 total yards for him, which is a season high, I believe.
He's second leading receiver and rusher and a touchdown for Gio Bernard. And he hadn't played in, a month and a half?
Yeah, and they had him in the slot a few times I saw as well, which is what I wanted to see. So,
well, Brady talked about Gio and Vaughn stepping up. By the way, Fournette was close to playing. They felt like he couldn't get the full speed, but they had confidence in Vaughn and Gio. Rojo also has an ankle injury, but nobody really even talked about him playing this week. I don't think he's being held in good favor right now. I could be wrong with that, but I think that tweet last week may have soured a few people on where the hell's your head at, man. Here's Brady talking about Gio and Vaughn.
I think they did a great job, in coming in, and neither of them played quite a bit. Gio, we've had him in there at different times. He's been injured. He had a huge game today for us. Keyshawn's taken advantage of his opportunity, done a great job. So, when guys go down, other guys have to step in and do the best they could do, and they're counted on in big moments. And glad we can really count on those guys to do the job, with Lenny and Rojo out.
Yeah, the first run of the game, they pull Tristan Wirfs, and he just absolutely destroys a linebacker in the hole. And Vaughn, I think, got 17 on that carry. I thought that really kind of set the tone as well, the physical tone of that offensive line. And Gio drops his first pass. It was right in his hands. And you're like, oh, gosh, this is not going to go well. But he came back and played really, really well. I thought none of these guys made big mistakes in pass blocking. None of them made big mistakes in terms, Vaughn held onto the ball, no fumbles. So I think he can play. I think he's got a lot of ability. He's a great runner. He just needs to settle down and hold on to the ball, and he'll be fine. And his blitz pickup was good. He didn't make any mental mistakes as far as I could see. Rojo, of course, usually does. I think Tom Brady and Bruce trust those guys.
Yeah, and the trust of not putting in like the veteran like Le'Veon Bell, who I thought was going to have a role today or yesterday, and I don't think he really even touched the field hardly.
I don't think he did at all.
No, so that shows you the confidence. He backed up his statements. Arians did on Vaughn.
Let's hear Bruce Arians talk about that next man up mentality, number 8 from from Bruce Arians.
Next man up. And just like I told him, man, I'm so proud of all the ones that stepped in and stepped up. When you put Buck's helmet on, there's a level of expectation. And you don't have to be the guy you replace. You just have to be the best you and just play your best. And everybody that's had an opportunity has done that.
They have changed the culture so drastically here. And I know Brady gets all the credit, but I think Arians deserves a lot of credit too. A lot of credit. And speaking of the defense setting the tone, let's hear Bruce talk about his defense in the crowd. Number 4 here.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think they're all disappointed in that little relaxation. When you have a chance to shut somebody out, you don't relax. And I think we learned a lesson there. But yeah, for 3 quarters, they were fantastic.
I think this is my question, number 6. I asked about him, asked him about just the energy in the stadium and the physicality and intensity that the Bucs played with in stopping the run early on.
We just tackled it way better. We played the screen game way better, and we were more physical in the first 3 quarters.
And let's do number 5 from Arians, which he'll talk today at 12:15, by the way. His biggest concern going forward.
Probably Jared, healthy bodies, and just staying healthy. Hopefully we can keep our offensive line intact because I think they're the best in football. And, Tristan especially, they'll be working on that ankle nonstop. But, yeah, I think staying healthy, turnover free and taking the ball away, that's a good recipe.
I would say it is. And we'll see tonight, Arizona or the Rams coming to town. Short week, long trip to the East Coast. They're going to be bitching about that all week long.
Oh, I know. It's coming. But you got 2 quarterbacks who have been a little bit chaotic, I guess, in the second half of the season.
Kyler Murray and Matt Stafford, yeah.
So I'd rather want Arizona, because I feel like they have the less chance to pop. I know we can't stop Cooper Kupp. I don't like Aaron Donald inside.
It's a bad matchup with the Rams.
Yeah, that's a team I just would rather not have to face right now.
I agree, 100%. All right, we will take our final break, and when we come back, we got a little Rays Stadium news. We had a good weekend, a good week last week, and getting the word out on our march coming up in Ybor City. I'll tell you a little bit more about that, and a couple of tidbits here as far as the stadium is concerned that I got over the weekend, so stay with us. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald and American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area. Many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities, including Chameleon Cove, the Owl's Nest, Public Skill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We are brought to you in the second hour. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com is where you can find them. They're a different approach to your personal medicine. Everything is personalized, so check them out at BAMMC.com. We're also brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. This is a great time to shop. And many of you got gift cards or cash for the holidays. Well, why not go pick out something beautiful for your lady or for yourself? 0% financing up to 5 years. Always have layaway available. They have the best selection of diamonds, and that means something. You know, Steve and Julie have been in the business for a long time. Steve handpicks each and every diamond. He looks at it, makes sure it's up to quality, because you know that's what the diamond business is all about, folks. It's people with discerning skills, because you can get bad diamonds and be sold a bill of goods. And that's the best part about the Gold and Diamond Source. They've been here for a long, long time, and they have built a reputation on being honest jewelers and honest dealers. That doesn't happen everywhere, folks. And it's just fun to go in there. It's like a jewelry superstore. They've got some of the great watches as well, Breitling, Rolex, all the great watches, new and used, by the way. You can get some great prices on gently used watches there. And of course, one of the big things we always talk about is how Steve and Julie are very, very proactive in the community in terms of their philanthropy, always giving to others. Hands Across the Bay charity, one of the best in the business. So we always ask you to support those businesses that support the local community and their charity endeavors. And of course, you're going to get a great deal as well. It's just about 10-15 minutes from downtown Tampa. If you're coming that way, right over the Howard Franklin, it's on your left, 3800 Olmerton Road in Clearwater, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, couple of updates on the Rays Stadium situation. Just chatting with some folks over the weekend. We told you last week that the TSA in the first quarter is going to come out with these feasibility studies. They're presenting Rays with one financial package for a half season, and I've been told that the half season package is going to be very little public money, because their feasibility shows that if you're only going to have half the games, you're not the payoff for public tax money, even if it's hotel taxes and user fees, going towards half a season is just not. It's just not there. The numbers don't work like it would work in the Battery as they've done in Atlanta or the entertainment districts around the Rangers Stadium. It just doesn't work. You're bringing tens of thousands of people to a baseball stadium 40 to 50 times more in a year. That's a big deal. And if you're going to have to spend almost as much for a quote boutique stadium as you are for a full season stadium, it just doesn't make much financial sense. So that plan is certainly not going to be palatable to the greedy Sternberg. But the full-time plan, the full season plan is going to be, I'm told, very palatable, where the Rays will have to put in up to $350 million, a title sponsor who may or may not be Hard Rock or Publix or somebody like that, a couple $100 million, and then a $300 to $350 million contribution in public money from, again, hotel taxes, CDD, development taxes, user fees, not general fund money that would go towards, roads and schools and things like that. I see a lot of pushback on Twitter when we talk about this, that, we could use this money for other things. Well, that money that is collected, it can't be used for those things. That's the way they do it with tourist taxes and other community development districts, because that money would not be produced. The tax revenue would not be produced if it weren't for the baseball stadium. So, these are things that I know a lot of people say, we got to be a schools better and blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't be giving rich people money. Look, I get that part of it, but if you're going to have a full season and the economic impact that the baseball team is going to bring in a new stadium, that's worth the money. And I get back from people, some academics that show these studies that say, the money, it really just comes from, it takes away from other places in the county, in the area more, and it just gets spent on in this particular district. And certainly that's part of it. But all you have to do is open, and a lot of these academic studies don't take into effect the halo account or the halo effect, that it's development around a ballpark that isn't specifically the tax revenue from the actual stadium. And Atlanta is a perfect example of this. In Cobb County, they did not have a single office building built in the decade preceding when the Braves went there. Now they've had 12 different office buildings built. Headquarters are moved there. Papa John's Pizza is now headquartered there. So many businesses and restaurants around the surrounding area, and the tax base in that particular area has gone up from $5 million in available tax base to $587 million. And so it's been a huge win for the taxpayers. It depends on who you read, I guess, but the numbers that I look at and your own eyes should tell you it's a huge economic impact. So I think that's what you're going to see. And over the weekend, and talking to some people, it just solidified all those things I just told you. I think things are very much moving in that direction. Now, as far as the rally goes, we're dealing with a lot of things in terms of scheduling. Obviously, Gasparilla is the 29th of February, that Saturday. We're not doing it then. You back it up to the Super Bowl, which is the 16th. So that 15th before the Super Bowl, Bucs still possibly being in, and plus it's not enough lead time really to get everything organized that we have to do. So I'm thinking that probably that first weekend in March is looking like the date for the rally. Haven't solidified it yet, but I think that first Saturday after Gasparilla, I haven't checked to see exactly what's on that particular date, but there's a couple of things going on, but I think that's what we're looking at. And if you're listening to this and you have, some thoughts on that, I'm going to put that out. We're going to organize the Zoom call with a lot of people, those folks that have emailed me, be getting back to you today to tell you just what we're doing. But again, start just, if you can bring 10 people, it's going to be somewhere in Ybor, probably early March. And we hope you just bring as many. We need thousands of people at this rally to make sure that, Mayor Castor knows, all our politicians know that full season is the only option. Half season is a boondoggle for us. It's a boondoggle for Montreal. It's a huge win and a scam for Stu Sternberg. So that's the message we want to get out. Other stories we have not gotten to today. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. There's been this groundswell on Twitter and, of course, big tech in trying to silence Joe Rogan because he's had Dr. Robert Malone on in the past few weeks, who exposed all the fallacies about the vaccine. He's the guy that invented the mRNA. He also had Dr. Peter McCullough on, who did an incredible podcast. If you have not listened to the Rogan podcast with Dr. Peter McCullough, who is without question the most credentialed academic / physician that treated COVID patients. He testified in front of Congress under oath. This is one of the most learned men, smartest men, specifically about COVID, how it was handled, how it was mishandled, everything you need to know. It's an enlightening podcast. I don't care what side of this is you're on as far as COVID and vaccines and everything. You would do yourself a disservice if you don't listen to it. And while they say they're trying to silence Joe Rogan, they're not trying to silence Joe Rogan. Everybody loved Joe Rogan before this happened, right? There was nothing wrong with him. But when he puts on people that expose the scam of the pandemic, now they don't like that. And when in history has censorship on the side of human rights? Ever. Folks, look at your history. When they're trying to censor people, there's a reason for it. And it's not good. So whatever side you're on, go listen to those two podcasts. Censorship, never a good idea. All right, our big thanks to Sal Pal, John Clark, NBC Philly, and our good man Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru. If you missed any of it, go download the app if you don't have it already. Just tap that app anytime, and the show will start up right from the beginning. You could also watch us on YouTube. You can go back and watch us on YouTube, on our Twitter, and on Facebook as well. So many places to check us out, but download the app. That's the easiest way. Good job, Geddes. Glad you got him from Buffalo. We will see you tomorrow.